Now I want to show you how you can use commonJS inside your application and what advantages you will get from using it. You should read about commonJS if you want to know more, and I have also added it in Pensum where you can find articles about commonJS. But let's start out. Let's create a new mobile app project. It's going to be a classic one, default project, and we want to call it commonJS first time. And of course, the app ID is an inverted URL, so dot and then dot commonJS. Finish. And now I have my project. Okay, the first thing we want to do is check if we do have Genymotion working, and we don't have it, so we want to start one. And as usual, we will do it in here, and we can see the Genymotion is starting up. And there it is. Put it on the side here, and we just go in here and refresh, and we can see now it is there, and it's called Samsung Galaxy S4442, and you can also find it in here. This is the one. I will run my application. And there you have it. It's just a typical default project. Now, we don't want to change the project, but we want to change the layout of the code so we have much more overview. So if we go into our app.js here, you can see this is just a typical template, default template in classical mode. So we want to add a new folder where we will have all our files for each window, for example. So we want to go in here and we want to create a UI folder. That's it. And then we want to create, just to look at the code first, what we are doing here, we create a tab group, and window 1 is added to the tab 1 and label 1 is added to the window. So what we really want to do is creating tabs for the tab group. So in here I would like to create a file which contains tab1.js. Okay, so whatever is in tab 1 here, tab 1 should be in a file for itself. But we also have a tab 2, and I will create a file for that too. And .js. It has to be JS files. And let's see in our app.js again. What we do have here is the tabs actually start here. Create base UI tab and root window. And then it ends here for tab 1. So we want to cut here and paste it in here. Okay. But how is that gonna work? Well, it isn't. If we want to encapsulate our variables in here so we can use them somewhere else, we will have to create a function. So, sorry, function tab 1 create tab 1, and we want to, when this function is called, we want to create a tab. So that's about it. And of course we have to end it down here. And just to make it pretty, let's move it in. Okay. So when this function is called, it's going to create a tab 1. But we also want to return tab 1, which is created in here. That one. That is our final product of this function. To make this work in other files, we have to do a module.exports equals and then the name of our function. So now we have created, by using commonJS, a way to access all the information in here from the app.js. So how are we going to do that? We are going to do that by using tab1 equal then the function require. And by require, you give it a URL, and we are in resources right now, so we have to go to UI/tab1. You don't have to enter any extensions. And of course, what we get back from tab1, we get a real tab1 function. But to get what is returned inside the function, we have to call the function. And we do that by adding extra parentheses. So now we execute the function as well. So what is in tab 1 is the object of tab 1. And we do the same for the window 2, the tab 2. We exclude it, add it in here, create the function, create tab 2, make it pretty, return tab 2, which is here. And remember to do a module.exports equals and then your function name. And go back here and say var tab 2 require UI/tab 2 and then execute it by adding extra parameters. So what we did here is that now it should work exactly the same. Just to make you notice that there is a change, I can go into the file tab 2 and add my initials so you can see that it's really working. But now I can access the tab 2 code without seeing everything else but the tab 2 code. And that's a big advantage when having an overview. And also, what you see out here, we have a tab 1 parameter here, but we also have a tab 1 parameter in here. and that's not the same, or variable. We have a tab1 variable in here, but we also have a tab1 variable in the app.js. But that's not the same variable, because in here it is encapsulated within the function. So that's another thing that is very important here. But let's try to run it. I am window 1, and now you see I am window 2 and my initials. So we did the same thing, but now with better overview and encapsulated variables.